In section 9.3, we're going to look again at inferences from two samples, except for we're going to have two lists of sample data. So we'll have a list 1 and a list 2 of data, and we're going to be looking at making a claim between those two lists of data. So because we're going to be looking at two lists of data, and the two lists of data are going to be dependent on one another, what we would like to do is compare the difference between the two sets. So when we say difference, we literally mean we're going to take the difference. We're going to subtract the two sets. So what we'll literally look at doing is taking list 1, whatever that is, minus list 2. And then what we're going to do is take all those values, and we only want to deal with the subtraction values. We don't want to deal with the two lists separately. So what we'll do is we'll turn those into a list 3 where we're only looking at the subtraction. And then once we're looking at only one list, we can do a test on just the one list where we already have everything subtracted. So this list 3 will be everything that's already subtracted. And we'll do a test on that. Well, then we won't have to do a 2-SAMP t-test because we won't be dealing with we won't be dealing with two lists, we'll only be dealing with one. So what will we do instead? We will do a regular t-test because we're only dealing with one list, and we'll do a regular t-interval. So we'll do regular t-test when we do testing, and we'll do a regular t-interval when we're doing confidence intervals because we'll only have one list of data. So let's talk about this. So just like before, we'll start by identifying our claim, whatever that may be, and then we'll figure out where does the claim land. If it has any type of equal to, it will land in your null hypothesis. If it doesn't, then it will land in the alternative, and then our null and alternative will be complements. Then you can figure out if you've got a left-tailed, right-tailed, or two-tailed it's always based on the alternative. So we'll figure out if it's right-tailed or a two-tailed or a left-tailed. Because we are still dealing with sample data, there's no way that we could have sigma. We're going to have S. That's why we're doing, again, t-tests. So we'll do t-tests again, and remember, the t-test will give us a p-value. The p-value is going to be the area in, if it's a one-tailed, the area in the one tail. If it's a two-tailed, it's going to go ahead and find the area in both tails. So we'll find our p-value will be the area in the tail or tails. The calculator, again, can go ahead and do that for us. We've done t-tests in the calculator before. That's all we're going to do. The hard part is going to be coming up with that third list. So what we'll do is we'll put all of our first group of data in our list 1. We'll put all of our second group in our list 2. And then we don't want to make any mistakes, so we'll have our calculator go ahead and figure out what list 3 is, which is it's going to take everything from list 1 and subtract everything in list 2, and then it will go ahead and put it here for us to use in list 3. And then we won't care what's in list 1 or list 2, we'll only deal with list 3. So what we'll do is we'll have our calculator figure out how to do that. It'll take our list 1, subtract our list 2, and this little arrow key is called the store key. We do this on the main screen of your calculator. And if you do this on your main screen, here's your little store key. You'll do the list 1. Notice the list 1 button's on your 1 button. See, it's right there. And your list 2 is on the 2 button. Notice you have to hit your blue or yellow button first. And your list 3 is on the 3 button. So you'll literally type in L1 using the 1. You'll have to hit the second button first. Then minus your L2. Again, make sure that you hit the second button first before you hit the 2 button. Then you'll use your store key. I always think of STO meaning store is over there. on the left-hand side to get the little arrow. Then you'll use your 3 key, again making sure you hit the second button first, to get your list 3. Then you're going to press enter. And what it will automatically do for you is put into list 3, it will take all the elements of list 1 and subtract all the elements in list 2, and it will automatically put them in list 3. So that then, moving right along, I can just do a t-test on list 3. So that's what we're going to do, because then I'm down instead of it looking at 2 at a time, I can just look at 1. I can just do a t-test on only list 3 and forget about list 1 and list 2. So we've done t-test plenty of times. We'll do a t-test, except for this time we've got a data set, or it'll ask for a mu naught here. That's going to come from the mean from your claim. Be careful, we were only doing this on list 3. Normally, the default here is list 1. So we're going to have to change that to a list 3. Leave the frequency as a 1, because that just means all the elements in your list happen once. And then you'll have to tell us what kind of test you have, whether or not it's two-tailed, left-tailed, or right-tailed. And then you'll go ahead and have the calculator calculate out the t value and the p value. Remember, just like before, the p value that comes out is going to be the area that's in the tail if it's left-tailed or right-tailed, or the area in both tails if it's two-tailed, meaning it will already be multiplied by 2. It will already be taken care of if you told it to do a two-tailed test. Then you'll do your same question we always do. Is the p-value less than or equal to alpha? If yes, you'll reject H0. If no, we'll fail to reject H0. And then we'll take a second to figure out what does that mean. We'll list out our H0 and our H1. We'll figure out which one was the claim. And then we'll write a sentence in terms of your claim. What are you doing? Do you have sufficient or insufficient evidence? Are you rejecting or failing to reject? Are you failing to accept? That sort of thing.